Okay, Future Thomas here. I just want to start off by thanking China Hobbyline for sending me some of their 3S Mini Stars 450 mAh and some Mini Star 4S 450 mAhs. Without those, it would have taken even longer than this review already has. What's up, guys? It's been a while since my last video that I actually talked in. Got a new puppy, as you might have seen one of my posts. He's a pain in the ass, and the weather's been shit. But I've got a new build, thanks to TuneRC. They sent me over their 3.5 Toothpick kit. Comes with the frame, the motors, 5 motors actually, so you have one spare. They're poly 4S board and an ELRS receiver if you choose the option with the receiver. I got the O3 version. It was a very easy build. I really enjoyed soldering on the AIO. The pads are nice and big. Everything went together seamlessly. The hardest part of the whole build was reusing the DJI screws to hold the VTX into the canopy, because the screws that DJI uses are terrible, and I have a whole pack of Phillips screw heads and none of them fit well. So yeah, that's the hardest part. Everything else went nice, seamless. I would say the best spot to put the capacitor that they include is at the end of the XT30. It's going to be really tight if you want to shove it in there. I guess you could put some wires from the pads to the arm and do it that way. But I think this is going to be the cleanest. I'm going to do my battery toilet tank style. There's options on the frame to do it either way. TuneRC recommends a low pitch prop like the HQ 3.5 by 2 tri-blades. So thankfully I had some of those from my Crux 35 back in the day. Now, TuneRC has a great build guide for the frame and installing the VTX on their website. So I'm not going to go into the build. As you can see, it's already built. They've got great images, step-by-step instructions. So very easy to follow. Easier than if I was to actually do a build video on it. I already know with this heavy VTX and camera, these motors are going to struggle a little bit. You're not going to be able to throw it around as much as you would if this was an analog build or a Walksnail build, which I am actually going to transfer all of this over to after, just because I have one laying around, and I think HD with that lighter weight, it's gonna be perfect. Now I could put an O4 air unit in it, one of the light ones, and that would be just as good, if not better. But right now I'm gonna build it with what I've got. I don't have a spare O4 at the moment, but if that's something you're interested in seeing, then maybe I'll take apart one of my whoops that have one in it and try that out for you. Let me know. The motors that TuneRC chose are their own brand. 1104 3600 kV. And as I said, they might be pushing it for this weight, but I've seen a lot of footage from it. MoeFPV has a great video on it, and it flies well still. I think if I were to build it again, I'd put some 1404s on here, kind of like the Crux 35, and then it would handle the weight of the O3 pretty damn good. They do have a new O4 Pro canopy that you could also get if you just want to skip a generation. I had the O3 laying around brand new in a box, so I asked if they could send that one. Maybe in the future I'll also try the O4 Pro on here. Some notes You're probably not going to want to stabilize it. I don't know why you would anyway, because you're going to have props in view. One thing to note as well is there's no adjustable camera angle. I don't know if that's going to be a problem for most. Kind of looks maybe like 20 degrees, 25 degrees. So that's perfect for me anyway. I put a Happy Model strap on right now just because I only have 550s and they didn't fit the TuneRC straps that they gave. But I've got some 453S and 454S on the way. So I'll swap that back over because I don't even think I'm going to try it with the 550s because it's not recommended. The extra weight's going to be a problem. So here's my first flight with the TuneRC 3.5-inch kit. It's got the O3 on it. Immediately, I felt extremely used to the quad. Just getting a feel for it, floating around the park. This was with the 4S LiPo. 4S 450 from China Hobbyline. I believe this was before I put on the mouse tune preset that TuneRC recommended to me. As you can see, there's plenty of power to move this O3 around because overall it's still a super light quad. Here's where I'm thinking, do I do a trippy spin on my maiden flight? I chose yes. Not a very good one, but still a trippy. You're gonna see in a minute, the only time I really felt like it lacked a bit of power was on coming down from some dives. This one may be one of them. No, that one I was aware of my throttle. There's my puppy. I think right here. Yeah, I almost hit the ground. But you just got to be wary of your throttle. Make sure you have enough when coming down. 1404s would help with that, but then you'd probably lose a fair amount of flight time. Yeah, there again. Now the O3 version is 119.65 grams. If I'm basing it off of MoeFPV's review, because I forgot to weigh mine. I'll go over the weight of the Walksnail build when I show you some DVR from that. I'm just going over 2 flights, and then I'm going to put together an edit, and I'll also talk some more about the quad. Yeah, there, right there again, but still got out of it, no problem. It's a little bit windy this day. That's what those little baubles are from. Dog just wants to go home. The quad just handles super well. You tell it where to go and it goes. I do like to bring my drones in a little early, so I'm almost at 4 minutes and I could definitely go a lot longer. I think we're gonna recover to like 3.7 or something if I remember this right. Yeah, 3.65. Close enough. So here's the Walksnail build. Had to make sure those 4 nuts were changed, and I put 20 mil M2 screws all the way through instead of the 18 millimeter that came with the kit. It's quite an easy swap. I'm probably gonna swap back to this guy. Okay, here's about my 3rd flight with the Walksnail build, which turns out it's only 79.92 grams. So that's quite the weight savings over the O3 version. First couple flights, it was really strange to fly just because of how light it was. It was also windy the day I first tried it. This is with the 4S 450 China Hobbyline battery as well. I did fly it with the 3S, but I like the little bit of extra weight of the 450 and the extra power you get, at least for my flight style. If you're going to do more cruisy flights, the 3S is perfectly fine. I didn't find a huge difference in flight times between the two. Obviously a little bit more with the 4S, but I think the weight savings kind of minimizes that amount. As you can see, it's quite floaty with this weight configuration. I'm not sure if I like that more or less than the O3 version. I'm probably going to put it back to the O3 at some point. Maybe print a canopy and try an O4 Pro version. Or if I decide I like this weight, I'll put an O4 Lite. Get rid of my Walksnail gear eventually. This flight was about 4 minutes, but I cut it quite short. Probably came in over storage voltage. That was a good bonk. Did nothing to the quad. I think throughout my testing, I crashed this thing like 3 times. One was with the O3 unit, and I didn't have enough throttle. I just wasn't used to the build. I think it was the 3rd flight maybe on a windy day. Just got too low, tumbled on the ground. You'll see later the largest crash I had. It broke the plastic on my battery strap and ejected the battery. Only got a minor scuff on the frame. I think that's due to the low weight and just the frame's well built. Carbon's nice. Really smooth carbon. They chamfered the edges really nicely. And here's the end of the flight. I have really enjoyed flying this Toothpick from TuneRC. They were super generous to send me this kit. I've crashed a couple times. There's only a little minimal damage on the arm that you'll see in this clip here. Everything went together so easily. Really impressed with the carbon. It's nice and smooth and chamfered, as you're seeing on the screen right now. I'm actually going to keep it on the Walksnail build for a little while. I think the floatiness I just need to get used to. It's something I haven't really experienced, having this be my first Toothpick. I've been told I now need to build a 1S version or a 2S. I think I'm going to try some higher pitch props on the Walksnail build. Might make it even more floaty. I wouldn't recommend those on the O3 version because these motors will get hot. I did end up keeping the Happy Model battery strap on because with the TuneRC one, it worked great with the 3S China Hobby Line batteries. But with the 450s, it's just barely hanging on, and I didn't really want to risk it. If TuneRC could make the battery strap a centimeter, half-inch longer, I think that would be perfect. I can't imagine people running smaller lipos than this, even though the flight time's great and it would probably work. All in all, I'm having a great time with this. I'm going to continue flying it. I'm probably going to pick up another one of their AIOs because I really enjoyed soldering on it. It was super easy. Big pads, ELRS receiver, seems to be good quality. I didn't have any issues. Seems to be well made, unlike some ELRS receivers I've tried. Flying this thing was a treat. You point it in the direction that you want it to go and it goes. Like I said, it's very floaty in the Walksnail version. I'm not used to that. I will get used to that. With the O3, which eventually I'm going to put back on because I just like the video quality better, and it was still just as fun. Eventually I might upgrade the motors to 1404 if I keep the O3 on it. But that's after maybe I damage one of the motors, including one of the spare motors that they include, because that's a great thing. They include an extra motor in the kit. I believe the kit's only $112.99 right now. So the TuneRC 3.5-inch kit comes with the frame, the AIO with the XT30 and capacitor, the motors, an extra motor, battery straps, and in my case I also got the ELRS receiver. You can get it with or without. It also comes with the whichever canopy you choose. So I chose the O3 canopy. It's printed in PETG. It's a really nice print. You can get it in the O4 version as well. Here I've got the Walksnail version, so I just 3D printed a canopy. It's a remix of the Vision 40, which I've been doing a lot, remixing that, making it a little better for my use. With this kit being $113 US dollars, you really can't beat it. Some AIOs cost $100 on their own. So if you're in the market for a Toothpick that's 3S, 4S compatible, whether you have the O3, the O4, or just want to build something analog or Walksnail, this is definitely right up there. Replaceable arms. Not many Toothpicks can say they have replaceable arms. I do like that about this. So if I had have broken anything on that crash at the train tracks, which was kind of scary because I thought I was going to get run over by a train going to get it, then this kit is for you. Highly recommend it. Not really anything bad to say about it, other than I needed to use a bigger battery strap. And for the O3, I guess technically you could want bigger motors, more powerful motors. Really depends on your use case. I know Mo was saying they were getting pretty hot. I never found it to be too much of an issue. Occasionally on some dives and coming down low after a maneuver, I'd get really close to the ground, or in the one case, I'd actually catch the ground. But that could have just been me not being used to the build. But this video's getting a little long. Thank you again to China Hobbyline for sending me some batteries to fly this thing specifically. And of course, thanks to TuneRC for sending me this and trusting me to make a video on this. I'm really enjoying it, and I think a lot of you will too. Anyways, that's it for now. Thanks.